into that episode really quick, but first we want to talk about our sponsors, and that first one is Blue Ridge Screen Products.
Aaron and his team at Blue Ridge Screen Products have been a supporter since day one, and anything you need for your shop, Aaron's got it.
Stay tuned for a big announcement by them. The next one is Monarch Color.
Ian and his team, we actually got to visit them last week, and they have some really cool stuff coming out, and we're going to have them on the show pretty soon.
We're going to have them and their chemist on the show, so you get to hear how inks are made. And then finally we have Corchem Products.
Oh,
Corchem
I just
Chemicals.
love them. I just love them. I love all their products and the team over there. They're such fun people.
And we can't forget about PMI Tape. Thank you, PMI Tape, for being a sponsor of the show. Now, on with the show.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Am I on? Yes,
Yes,
there we go. Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you for being here today.
No problem.
Matthew is one of my bod buddies from the Gildan Board of Decorators.
Yep.
That's how I know you.
What's bod?
Board of Decorators.
Oh, that's right.
The Gildan.
I knew that, but you're also like from the CrossFit world, so I'm like, is it a
No,
bod?
this is not that kind of
It's the
bod.
dad bod, yeah.
The printer bods.
The printer bod, yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, where is your shop located?
So, located in Hazel Green,
And
which
what
is
is your
north of Huntsville, Alabama.
Print2Impress.
Print 2, the number 2, Impress.
Awesome.
Okay.
And you're spelled out though.
Yes, TWO.
Okay. Cool.
How'd you come up with that name?
It was actually holdover from the previous owners.
Mm-hmm.
I actually started the business as a outdoor store, and the building that I bought had a screen printing and embroidery shop in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started as Flint Crossing Outdoors. Was
Okay.
going to we're in a log cabin. It's great, but not much not much foot traffic.
Okay.
But the print shop, it was doing okay, and and it had employees, screen printing and embroidery.
Relaxadaisical here.
Yeah,
You can drink anytime you want.
we're reinvigorated.
We're trying not to drink
It's-
this morning.
Yeah, it's a constant.
We've
But
had too much.
so we had
drinking.
artist. We had an artist, a screen printer, and an embroiderer that was already on staff. And I was going to change the name. It was going to be Flint Crossing Outdoors.
Yeah.
And the original goal, this was in early 2017, that I was going to have my own clothing line.
Okay.
Clothing brand, and we were going to print, and that was going to kind of pay the bills, kind
Yeah.
of get things going until the store took off. And
Yeah.
well, the store didn't take off.
Okay.
Had
Didn't catch lightning in the bottle.
no, had found out very, very quickly the retail world is crazy.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. You have to, especially with the larger brands, you have to order in February for what's being delivered
Correct.
in November for the Christmas year.
Oh, wow.
And so you're having to commit, $10,000 a brand minimum to come in.
Wow.
So it's great for that brand because they're pre-selling everything. So really got into, really sunk my teeth into the screen printing,
Yeah.
embroidery, and built that up. And so Flint Crossing is still a dream in my mind that we've tested out a little bit, but got to get build out the Print2Impress business where that it can I can get enough employees and then expand out into the clothing.
And what did you do before you bought the screen printing shop?
I was in IT.
Okay.
So actually, I've had a myriad of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Out of college, I have a history degree with a social science with a history degree. I have a college degree. That's pretty much all it was that it's good for.
Yeah.
And I've always worked on, tinkered with stuff, and got a job checking in computers at a little shop, making $5.25 an hour, minimum wage. my wife was a school teacher, so
Yeah.
kind of gave me the flexibility to figure out what I was going to do. Worked my way up and became one of their top techs there very quickly. Only worked there about 9 months and got a job with the school system and in their computer services, and worked there for a little while. And they wanted to open up a Cisco networking class. I was the only one that had a college education, and so then I was I had to take 2 classes. I was then a certified teacher for 5 years, taught high school for 5 years, and we did all the Cisco networking, and still talk to those students often. Most of them have stayed in the IT stuff, in IT world. And then a friend of mine started a mortgage company, and I was doing side work for him. And in 2005, it had gotten to where I was spending so much time working on his stuff that I wasn't teaching much, and I was pulling kids after school. They were working for me.
Yeah.
And then then I was in full time. I went to him full time until 2016. At the end of 2016, it was time to move on. But he actually helped me with financing and everything to purchase Print2Impress. Cool.
Awesome. And so how did you decide you wanted to own a print shop?
I didn't. So one of the funny things that I've found through my 5+ years in the printing industry is that so many print shops kind of fall into it. They kind of turn around and go, "Oh, I've got a print shop and an embroidery and employees. How did I find myself here?" So when I took over the print shop, I had
Samesies, Jeremy?
Yeah.
I had zero.
Yeah.
I mean, like none, zero experience in screen printing and embroidery. Lots of YouTube.
Yeah.
And the only way that it was possible is there were employees that were good at their job, and they were running everything. So I started, I was able to do the sales,
right,
and keep things going.
Cool. So Print2Impress, I've been thinking about it ever since you said it. There's a play on words there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, we print to impress.
And you're impressing at the same time. Do
Okay.
you get it?
Oh, yes.
I get
Do you
it.
get
Yes.
it?
Going back to the
Anyways.
dad jokes.
It was dad jokes.
Yeah,
but
it's
go
been a
on.
long week. Jeremy's tired. It's
Christy,
hilarious.
what you got?
Oh, so
That was my only thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Impression.
So, how has it been? Like, you weren't in print before. You didn't know how to print a T-shirt when you bought this business. What kind of things did you do to make sure you were doing the right things in your business and creating good product? And even, like, how did you learn how to sell a T-shirt?
So, selling the T-shirts, I spent a lot of time on Sanmar, SNS, and the Sanmar rep, Drew, came up, and they're always super helpful. I could call them up and say, "Hey, what is a dry fit? I've got these teams that need shirts. What do you recommend there?" And reaching out to other shops was a lot. I try to. Back then, Facebook was still okay to get some of the stuff, but a lot of it was reaching out to other shops, asking them questions. I think there was a shop in Decatur that allowed me to come over, and he just sat and showed me how he does his separations, took me through the whole shop.
Nice.
One of the best advice that he gave me was, don't buy the cheapest pressure washer. Don't go to Home Depot or Lowe's to buy a pressure washer. Spend the money and get a good pressure washer.
What difference do you think it makes?
Well, keeping the screen room going and not having to replace this piece of equipment every 3-6 months after it burns up. Having something that we just have to do some small maintenance, and 5 years later have the same pressure washer.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So I just buy pressure washers and we ruin them in 6 months.
That's what I did too.
Hotsy.
Yeah.
I got a Hotsy pressure washer.
I didn't even know there was a different kind
it's
of
an
pressure
electric.
washer.
Okay. Hot seat.
And now it was $1,300.
That's not whatever.
And it's a
You can't buy it at Home Depot.
no.
You gotta,
It's a lower pressure.
okay.
There's a local shop that sells them, and they have maintenance. And so the 2 times that we've had issues, the first time I brought it in, they fixed it right then. I took it back. The second time they have a mobile guy, and he came out to the shop
Oh, nice.
and fixed it. So
It's crazy. A one-time purchase.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've seen systems where they're like mounted to the wall and built into the shop, and
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're just plugging in
Really?
things into it.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Never
was
seen that
like,
before.
Yep.
why am I not seeing this
And,
before?
and
you know?
that's and he was showing me those systems
Yeah.
where the nothing is running until you squeeze the trigger.
yeah.
And then it kicks on. Now those are going
It's
to be
like a
more
car
expensive.
wash
Yeah,
kind of thing going.
but that was one of the best advices that I got, because I'm not just sitting there running through those electric Ryobi's and other things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
I just switch brands. I'm
That's
like,
what I
hopefully
was
this
doing
one will last
too.
Right.
longer.
Yeah.
And, we're kind of lucky because Home Depot is right across the street from our
Oh.
shop, but still, it's a
Well,
pain.
I think it was within a year. I mean, we had gone through 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they had built a little box that they would just set them in and just pull
Yeah.
them out and pull them back in. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so that one was good.
So we ended up going with Impro, and I was like, great. I don't have to worry about buying power washers anymore. And then they're like, well, you still got to use it for other things. I'm like, dang, now I got a really expensive power washer, and I got to use another one still. So yeah, we go through them.
In that, one of the first things that I didn't, in my shop, I did not go through and start changing things. They were writing all the orders on sheets of paper.
What?
They would buy the boxes of order forms. They had a standard order form, and when someone would come in, they would handwrite the name, style numbers, and sizes, and so every order was on that one sheet of paper, and there was no other copy.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
And that copy would, so once every day, I would take those orders, I would go through an order. Now, we had no PO system, it was just, this is what's on that order. I don't know what jobs they go to. And they would come in, and then we'd have to sort them.
Yeah.
And that piece of paper, we would have it, they didn't even have clipboards for the paper. They would just sit the
gosh.
paper on top, and we would raise the garage door, a nice wind. Whoop,
Yeah, I was going
and
to say.
you have no
You
idea.
lose the piece of paper, and you're
Yeah.
done.
So that was one of the first. Well, we got clipboards.
Yeah,
Right.
I started out with clipboards too. How do people pay for their orders if there was no online system?
So we did a lot with schools,
Mm-hmm.
and in QuickBooks we would create an invoice and
Okay.
take it. We'd
I think
take it
most people
directly through
start
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to create like little Shopify listings. Like I had a Shopify store, and I'd just be like, this amount, and do a picture
Yeah.
of the proof in there, and that's how I worked before we did Printavo.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
It was a pain. But
Jill wrote things on an actual calendar.
really,
She's like, I'm going to schedule it for this day, and it stayed on that day. There was no moving anything around.
Yeah.
I was like, where's the calendar? She's like, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm like, this is not good. You know?
Yeah.
So we ended up using Trello.
Yep.
Oh,
A lot of
And
people.
then-
I loved before we got into Printavo.
Yeah.
I had Trello, and there was a
Monday? Did you use Monday?
no, not OneNote. It was
Monday.
a CRM. No, I use Monday now, which I love. It was it was a CRM Infusionsoft. That's what it was.
Okay.
And I had built, because with IT stuff, I still love all the IT part of everything. We had built the boards similar to how we've set it up in Monday, but we have the orders, and they would move through the stages, and the stages would trigger automated emails to the customers. And so that was kind of our first try into automation and knowing where the orders were, where everybody could see everything, get it out of paper. And then when we went to Printavo, because really the PO system,
Yeah.
having a PO number and knowing, okay, number 1001 has these 5 orders.
Okay. Yep.
Easier to check things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did we moved to the PO system as well once we got Printavo.
Yeah.
And we were
Yeah.
like, and we'll order and our boxes will have the PO number on them.
That's right.
So it makes it so easy when they come in.
Check
We're like,
in.
that's that job. That's that job.
That's
that
right.
job.
Because
So
we
that-
do a lot of so now we do a lot of contract printing.
Yeah.
We're not
Okay.
just retail. Last year, a lot of our stuff converted over to contracts. So people are shipping stuff in.
Right.
We have before we even get a purchase order. So we have no idea, but after a while, you kind of know what their number systems are. But without having a number, it just
So-
stuff comes in.
I'm really curious now because you're saying you use Printavo, but then you also use Monday. So
Yes.
what is Monday being used for in your shop?
So Printavo is for our sales. It does the best job. I've tried to look at other stuff. We also use Inksoft for our online stores.
Interesting.
You have a lot of software.
I have a lot of
going.
software. I have a lot of
He's a
software.
software
Would-
background.
Too many
Yes.
windows
And
for my
history.
brain.
Yes, they all. The funny thing is the Inksoft and Printavo is where some of the breakdowns happen.
Yeah.
But I think they're hopefully fixing it if they're
Yeah,
listening.
don't
They
get
can-
Jeremy started on
can-
that.
I did a survey. I talked to them and it's like, here's what I want.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah. So
good luck on that too.
yeah.
I love Printavo though.
Yeah. So, so with Printavo, because it ties in to the vendors, it brings in our SKU numbers and descriptions, and the pricing is built in. So on the front end and payments, PO system, it works great for us there. What does not work at all is the calendars.
Okay.
Their production thing, that was I
Power
couldn't
scheduler.
Power scheduler. Yeah.
power scheduler, that was a mess for me.
Yep.
It's too many clicks. Nobody could make sense of it. And what we do is Monday is production.
Ran out of battery.
Yeah,
Well, let's
there
do
we
this
go.
again. So, okay,
Yeah, it's cable.
we're
gave out.
recording, and the cable gave out. It literally was a cable. It was the weirdest thing.
That's wild. It's had enough.
It's had enough. Apparently,
It's
we're
ready
like,
to
It's
go
like,
back to
it's
North
like,
Carolina.
I'm done.
cool. Well, I'd say let's pick up where we left off. But you were in the middle of Monday,
Yeah.
and so I don't know if you remember where we left off.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
Neither do I.
So we use Printavo we use for our front end sales,
Okay.
and Monday is we use for production.
Gotcha.
Keeping up with that, there's things that we have in our Monday boards that when things are checked in. So there's
Right.
not a system in Printavo to know that we have a partial check-in or we're missing this or, hey, these are checked in. And when things are checked in, then it moves to these different groups.
Right.
And then we've got when art is ready or we need screens, then it'll send an email to my artists to send over.
Okay, so the Monday is kind of replacing the task in the automated task in
Yes,
Printavo.
and we really use it. We are doing a double entry of data.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever they come through, when the products hit our dock, that's when we put them in Monday, and we treat it. It's basically a fancy spreadsheet
Okay.
with some automations, and if anybody's trying to use Monday, the mistake that I did with any and all the other softwares was trying to make it do everything and automate everything. What I found is start with a basic, just treat it like a very basic spreadsheet, and then add features as you can.
Yeah.
And because every shop's going to be different, you might want to see this, or it needs to have this kind of a column that you need.
Right.
And it's been very, very flexible for us.
So I guess my curious thing is like on the, because it's obvious they don't communicate with each other that well. I'm sure there's things in
Do you use Zaps or anything with it?
Works. Yeah, I was going to say Zaps and things.
Yeah, you can use, we use make.com instead of Zapier. It's been a lot cheaper for us. We can do a lot more tasks with that.
Okay.
And one of the benefits of Monday that we have found is we have a shop that we do a lot of contract embroidery with.
Right.
And with Monday, they give you guest accounts. And so we have a separate board just for them.
Okay.
And so their employees have logins, and that's where we're able to communicate directly with them.
Yep. Cool.
So they can see when things are checked in, when they're not, where they are. And then because we're blind shipping for them, and I have it tied into ShipStation, and it will show that.
So their employees, when they're answering the phone and the customer's like, where's my job? They don't even have to call you. They can just go
They can, yes.
through the Monday.
Mhm.
That's pretty nice. I like that.
And if we have issues with, because they're local, they're just down the road, so I drive over to pick up a lot of the items if they're not shipping directly to me. And so if we're missing a garment or whatever they gave me, we don't have the number, we can communicate in that job instead of sending emails back and forth and having, they sent it to Terry and not Matthew, and I didn't get this email, or it's buried in an email thread. Well, I thought they were talking about this other job. It's all there. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the communication thing is important, right? And throughout the entire business.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you guys using anything else to communicate with your employees or customers? Like, let's say you're here. How are you communicating with this? Just a phone? You got
Slack.
Teams, Slack.
Yeah, we use any internal communication is done inside of Slack. We don't want to do emails. Emails are for customers, and we so communication back and forth, files. We use Google for our company email, so we have that Google Drive where all of our art and embroidery files are synchronized. So that one of the other things that I found is they had all their embroidery files on one computer and all their screen printing files on one computer, 0 backups. And
that's scary.
It was about 5 years worth of art and files from there. So now it's been Print2Impress. The business started in 2009.
Yeah.
So now we have lots of art.
So last week when we were at the Gildan Board of Decorators thing in Michigan, me and you spoke about, like, you bought your business, and part of the purchase price included the equipment in it, and you were actually able to finance in the equipment with the purchase of the business. Can you talk about that a little bit and how you made the decision to do that?
So I kind of the company I worked for, with the mortgage company, so we had contacts with banks and closers, and so they really helped me structure this deal. The mom and daughter that owned the business, the daughter wanted to, the mom wanted to retire. The daughter wanted to get into real estate, and they were done. They wanted out, and so, but they owned this really nice building, and when we got into the appraisal of the building, and they had, I believe there was enough in there where they had paid off the building that they were willing to take just the price of the building.
Right.
And so whenever you're doing a commercial purchase, you can't do 100% financing on a building. Mm-hmm. You have to have about 20% at least down. Well, what I was able to do is get a lease on the equipment that they already had, and that was more than the 20% that I needed to pay. So it's kind of like a second mortgage, if you're familiar with any home mortgage stuff. And so I had a mortgage and an equipment lease, which was a great deal. So I effectively bought the building, and it came with the company.
Okay, that's great.
Now, the caveat, I would have, knowing what I know now, I would probably try and, if there was another way to finance that other 20%, because the equipment that I had, although it ran, now the embroidery machine, we're still using it. It's great. It's a Tajima 6-head, but it's a 06, but we maintain it and it runs well. The press, they had a manual 6 Riley Hopkins and a little workhorse electric dryer, which we still use, and a brown Electroprint.
Yeah.
The good thing about the brown is that it turned on every morning and it spun.
Yeah.
We printed thousands of shirts on it. But if you're doing thousands of shirts, I don't recommend. It's just,
sure.
It's 10, 15 minutes of just changing out a color. But, so we were able to structure that deal where the equipment was able to finance the rest of it. And then the owners, I worked out a deal where the daughter, she was going to work for a month, and I would pay her kind of as a contractor and kind of learn their process, because one of the big things that we never really thought about, because we were still using Print2Impress, because that was known through our community. That's why we kept it, because changing names, even when they started hearing Flint Crossing, it got very confusing.
Yeah.
They thought, Print2Impress is going out of business. What's this Flint Crossing?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we quickly kind of really focused in on Print2Impress. But getting the vendor swapped over,
Right.
doing all of that, because it was under one tax ID. Now you have a new tax ID. Mm-hmm. Getting credit with them. So that was kind of a change, and having to talk through all of that. And then one of the first hires that I wish that I would have made, and I recommend for anybody, is a very good accountant, bookkeeper.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
They will, it's someone that can, I didn't even know how to deposit checks. Like I have 10 checks. I did not know how to reconcile that in a QuickBooks and then take it to the bank and put that in.
I think that's very common in this industry, especially when you don't run a business
So,
before.
not only did I have to learn screen printing, embroidery, I had to learn some accounting.
Yep. You had to learn it all.
So
you're like, of course I don't do accounting. I have a history degree.
That's exactly.
So, Matthew, what is your favorite part about being on the Gildan Board of Decorators, or favorite thing that you've seen, that we've done, or anything, any part about it?
The people, and I told them during my interview process, my main thing that I want to get out of the board of decorators, the guild and board of decorators, is just the networking. That's been my favorite part of going to any show, any shop that I go to. And I found most shops love to talk about their shop and show you what they do. Of course, there's going to be some that don't, but there's too many others that
Let
do.
me tell you about this guy I met last night. He was like, I don't understand. Survival of the fittest. Don't tell anybody anything. And I was like, who are you?
It's not a secret sauce.
No, it's not.
You know? And
It's
your
just a
customers
t-shirt.
aren't my customers. You know? Yeah. So like you brought in that shirt with that.
Oh, that's
with
secret
that,
sauce.
That print. Having the artist that can separate that is great. But yeah, seeing those and being inspired by, when we went to that shop last week,
Parent?
that Perrin Sportswear, that facility was,
It was crazy.
it's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unreal. But yeah, the networking, the trips are great. I mean, that's great. I get to hang out with a bunch of cool people that like to talk shop.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Matthew, you are such a treat. When we close out our podcast every time, we ask people 2 questions. Jeremy?
Yeah. What's your passion and what's your purpose? So they're separate. They're different. You have a purpose in life. What is that? Like, you feel like right now in the stage of your life? And then what are you really passionate about?
It does not have to be screen printing
It
related.
does not have to be screen printing related at
So,
all.
so it's not my passion drives to the purpose.
Okay.
So I'm passionate about helping people out,
Okay.
and my purpose is installing clean water around
Okay.
the world.
Okay.
I work with a organization, helped found it, called Mission Firefly, and we've installed clean water systems around the world: Mongolia, Guatemala, Haiti.
It's awesome. Yeah.
And so now I print shirts so that I can go do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Well, we greatly appreciate
Yes,
you being
we
on the
do.
No,
podcast.
it's
A lot of
fun.
information about all the things that we,
It's just,
some people don't want to talk about, like, the integrations and things that they're doing, and there's a lot of steps.
Oh, I think I've done some videos. I've posted some things on Facebook groups. So yeah, I share shots and videos. So yeah, any questions, I'm happy to answer.
How can people get a hold of you?
Matthew at Print2Impress.com or Print2Impress.com, the website. That's best way.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I hope you have a great day at
Thank
the
you.
show.
Great. It's been great.
Until
Thanks.
next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.